Sure. Thank you. Sure.
You're good to go.
Okay. Good evening. We'll call the meeting to order. This is the public presentation of the budget. I want to thank Vice Chair Chris Collins, who chairs the Budget and Finance, and of course Superintendent Warwick and Pat Roach, our finance team, that's done a tremendous job. Do we need to call roll call on the subcommittee? Just to make sure. Yeah, we're going to call roll call.
Yeah.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll, please.
Sure. Ms. Naylor?
Present.
Ms. Attorney Murphy?
Present.
Ms. Hurst? Absent. Ms. Gresham?
Present.
Ms. Perez? Absent. Mr. Collins?
Here.
And Mayor Sarno?
President, if we could all just please rise for a moment of silence, and I'd like to dedicate it to an educator, Mary Ann Fitzgerald, who's a dedicated Duggan Academy educator. She fought a valiant battle, and if we just take that moment of silence to honor her. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good evening, school committee members. Hope you and your families are doing well, and to the viewing audience, good health to each and every one of you in the viewing audience. I'm really going to turn this over, technically, I'm going to turn it over to Vice Chair Chris Collins, again, who chairs Budget and Finance, and the Superintendent Warwick for the presentation of the budget. Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we advertised as we should, and everybody had a chance to say if they wanted to speak. We did not get any requests from the public to speak. So we thought this might be an opportunity, because not everybody on this call is on the Budget and Finance that might not have seen Pat's current PowerPoint. So my thought was we could take a few minutes and let Pat run through a PowerPoint on the budget. That way you'd all be much more up to speed. So that's my thought.
Yeah, no, that's what I suggested. I thought it was a good idea. It's a real brief PowerPoint, but it'll give you a real flavor for where we're at with the budget. As usual, Pat and his team did an outstanding job. We have a balanced budget. Some of the key features are the Student Opportunity Act money. We're giving 100% of it plus to the schools for their teams to decide how to spend it. That's gone over very, very well with our principals and the staff. And some of the key features of the budget that we've been able to move forward are, again, expanding our preschool full-time opportunities for all of our 4-year-olds, and we're going to go to universal preschool at least half-time for all of our 3-year-olds, but down the road we'll be able to move that to full-time also. So that's a key piece to the budget. That was a big priority. School committee always talked about making preschool a priority. We've been expanding it every year, and it's pretty exciting, but soon we'll be able to go full-day preschool universally, and I think we'll be the first city in the Commonwealth to do that. But I'm going to turn it over to Pat. He and his team did a great job on the budget, getting everything balanced, but more importantly, focusing on our priorities.
And so, Superintendent Warwick, if I can say before we turn it over to CFO Roach, Pat and the team did a great job. To all my school committee members too, I cannot remember a time when we have public presentation of the budget that we did not have audience and or commentary on it. So I think that's a testament from Superintendent Warwick, Administration, School Committee, that even in these challenging times, we have kept services going. We haven't laid anybody off, and we're actually looking to expand services, and we kept everybody healthy and safe. So, knock on wood. But with that, I'll turn it over to CFO Pat Roach, and then we'll entertain any questions or comments school committee members might have. Pat?
Pat, you're on.
Good evening, Pat.
I was going to share a PowerPoint, Josue. I don't know if you can turn on, allow me to share the PowerPoint.
Yeah, I can't remember a time when we did.
Give it a shot now.
Okay.
There you go.
Aha,
There we go.
there we go.
Excellent. So this was the presentation that we shared with the finance subcommittee. You know, the last time we presented the budget, we had a budget deficit of $8.1 million. I'm going to go through this rather quickly because we went through it with finance subcommittee, but if anybody has any questions, feel free to speak up. I'm happy to answer them. What did we do? We asked departments to submit some cuts, central office departments. We looked at all the major accounts, and we looked at some of the available one-time funding sources we had, such as general fund carryover and ESSER funds. As you can see, we balanced the budget with the $8 million. Some significant points to note: if you look, our revenue, we're going up 5.5%. That's the Student Opportunity Act funds, as well as regular inflation that we're getting. The City of Springfield's contribution stayed the same. We're going to be applying $1.3 million in ESSER funds to cover the City of Springfield's contribution. So the mayor's side of the budget didn't go up there. Down here, we have a 9.6% increase in salaries. That has to do with a lot of the money we're pushing out to the schools and SOA funds, and the schools hiring staff members. A lot of education positions with those in the money that we put out there, as well as the fact that we had some cuts there this past year in order to balance the budget. Because if you remember, SOA got cut. The school committee had it in their budget, and then the SOA funds got cut. The retirement's going up 10%. The SPED out of district tuition, we ended up being able to reduce some money there. The SPED department's been working really hard, and we did some work there, and we were able to save some money in out of district tuition. And charter school continues to be a driver. It's going up $8.4 million. On this next presentation, you can see it by
District line was
department.
$20 million.
I'm sorry, Superintendent Warwick was just chiming in. Go on, Superintendent, please.
Yeah, some years back, that sped out of district line was actually $20 million. So over time, the sped department's done an incredible job of bringing that down.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have. So here, this is the same budget organized by department. And what you can see is the majority of the increase, $20 million out of the $23 million, is going into the schools. So all of that money is going right out to the schools. The business office, there's a lot of fringe benefits that's going up here, but the rest of the 20 million is going right out to the schools. These are the FTEs, and for most of the departments, the FTEs are all flat with the exception of the schools. You can see a pretty significant increase in FTEs out in school operations. On this slide, we're showing that $27.6 million of the schools' budgets, we push those out to schools, out to principals and their teams to make the decisions on what they're spending. So we have intervention funds. We give the schools $500 per student in order for them to put interventions into place to catch kids up and to meet their needs. Student Opportunity Act funds, this is the brand new line item in the budget. We're giving $400 per student right out to the schools. That's even more than the state is allocating to us, but the superintendent wanted us to accelerate that and get that out to the schools. We give $5.1 million in Title I funds for the schools to make decisions on, $2.6 million in supplies. Extended learning time, that's for summer school, night school, Saturday school, vacation academies. We give a book allocation, some money specifically for MCAS tutoring, and right before the MCAS, when schools get their grades back, they can start allocating that money to do tutoring to catch the kids up. Lunch coverage, various academic allocations to meet, to just special allocations in order for them to do some things in their schools. A special technology allocation, and then the home visit allocation for the elementary schools. So
Pat, can I just mention too, in case you, that academic allocation, again, for the whole student, that's in art, music, health, PE, and our libraries. So I think that's important that besides, you know, with the academics, the whole student, we're trying to give the extracurricular or additional activities, art, music, health, PE, libraries, and I believe Superintendent Warwick, I think we're one of the very few school systems in the nation that is doing, when it comes to, the art and music stuff, that we get to do that.
Yeah, at a time when other places were cutting it, we expanded it to every school and expanded the allocation at every school. Again, that was something the school committee was always interested in. We were able to get that done last year, and we've continued it this year.
Thank you. Sorry, Pat, thank you.
No, I think it's an excellent point. I mean, this slide right here, we're trying to show most districts make these decisions at the central office level, but we push this money out to our schools so each school can make a school by school decision on whether they want to, exactly what types of positions they need or exactly what types of supports their students need. And, it's been really well received by our schools. So what are some of the major highlights in the budget?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, school committee members, please, you can jump in any time you want, or if you want to wait till the end, please. Ms. Gresham, I thought I saw Barbara. Ms. Gresham?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Oh, am I muted?
No, you're good. You're on, right.
All right, so under interventions funds, if a student need a tutor, would that come out of there?
Yes, it could come out of the intervention funds. It could come out of the Student Opportunity Act funds or the Title I funds or the MCAS tutoring line item.
Okay, so.
But if they need a tutor for like a home hospital situation, that actually comes out of our SPED budget and is provided centrally. So if they have a reason they need a tutor because they're out of school for a while or anything like that, that doesn't come out of the school money. We provide that out of special funds.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ms. Gresham.
Okay, all right. Oh, I have another question too.
Sure.
With, wait a minute. So with the preschools, would they be bused or would the parents drop them off?
So for our special education students, they get bused. Our regular ed students, their parents drop them off. The biggest thing we've done over the past 4 years is we've added as many neighborhood schools as possible. So most families can get a preschool pretty close to their house that they weren't able to in the past.
Okay, and that way they either walk or
Well,
parents.
typically their parent drop off, Barb, because they're so young. So they're actually parent drop off on that. But again, half of the kids are special ed kids. They would qualify for the special ed transportation.
Okay. All right, perfect. Thank you.
And
Thank you, Ms. Gresham.
May I ask a clarifying question as well?
Yes, Ms. Naylor, please.
Are the boundary restrictions on the preschools as strict as the regular elementary school? For example, if the kid is staying with grandma during the day, usually because mom is working and grandma might live closer to Brightwood, would that kid be able to go to Brightwood, or would that kid still have to go to DeBerry or wherever else is their boundary school?
we try to get them into their neighborhood school, but if we need to accommodate them, we accommodate them.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not as strict. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Thank you for clarifying that. We thought so, but I wanted to hear from Superintendent Warwick and Pat that we try to accommodate there. That's a different situation.
And may I ask another question?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead, Latonya. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's only because I'm looking at the slide and it talks about the expansion of wraparound services. I know that we had a presentation from Dr. Johnson talking about the counselors and planning that they're doing. Can we in the near future get a presentation on City Connects? We haven't had one in at least 4 years. I think we had one the first year that I was on, and we haven't had one since.
You know what? That's a great point, and we have it on the agenda for tomorrow night. We're going to do a complete presentation on City Connects. We did a major presentation to Mass Mutual because they're funding over $1 million worth on that. So we're working with Boston College, and Mary Walsh from Boston College is going to come in and make a presentation with Julie Donovan on City Connects. I don't think we've done a presentation since at least last year on it.
Oh, I think it's been longer. I think Latonia's right. It's been a while, so that's good.
So it's on the next agenda. Thanks, Latonia.
Okay,
That's good. Thank you, Ms. Naylor.
We're thinking similarly.
Because the City Connects is so versatile in helping people, whether there's families out there, students with education, there's a food need, if there's a financial need to parents, I mean, it just connects for the whole household, so it's great. Ms. Gresham, I'm sorry, did you have a question?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So with the 3 full-day autism classes, are they gonna be in one school or all over?
No, they were added through the district, Barb, and we bus to those programs because they're called low incidence programs.
Right.
So they're just providing increased district capacity because that population is our biggest growing population.
Yes.
So we'll bus into those programs because of that. But every year we expand, and we've had to expand it at pre-K every year as well. But that's our fastest growing program.
All right.
I want to commend, thank you, Ms. Gresham, for bringing that up. I want to commend Superintendent Warwick and the administration school committee. We just did the autism recognition earlier in the month. And we all have family and friends where they're touched with those special and talented children. And the Springfield school system has really reached out, starting at a young age, to harness their talent and make sure that they can succeed, and families appreciate that. So thank you, Superintendent Warren.
We put a lot of money into improving and expanding our programs.
And Springfield has been doing it for a long time. I had an autism class in 1990 when I got first name principal of Warner.
Yeah.
So Springfield's been at it for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
good.
you, Ms. Gresham.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
Mr. Roach, Pat, I'm sorry, Pat.
No, those are excellent points. We were on the question and answer slide anyway. So
Yep, that's where we're at.
Well,
answer any
I'm
questions.
gonna reopen it up to school committee members, and for any questions or comments you might have, we are gonna get together again for a regular school committee meeting tomorrow night, and then we'll have a eventual vote on the
Come up in the first part of May, yeah.
first part of May. So, are there any other questions or comments?
Mayor, if I just, for one, I just want to thank you, Pat, for the presentation. I was at the Budget and Finance Committee meeting. You guys do a great job, and obviously the investment in preschool is a huge issue for our kids. So just thank you very much, and appreciate it.
And Attorney Murphy, your hair looks good too.
I'm still, it's not growing as fast as it used to, Mayor.
It looks good.
We all have that problem.
It looks good.
At least it's not falling out.
Doing the best I can.
Any other questions or comments?
I have a comment, Mr. Mayor. I just want to say thank you to Pat and his team with keeping the cuts away from the classroom. That's the main thing. So thank you so much.
That was one of our priorities.
Yes.
Barbara, did you find this helpful? Because Latonia and Peter and I were on finance. Was it helpful running through that tonight like this?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Good. That's what I was hoping for, so you'd have a chance to get any questions.
Yeah.
Right, because we can't always make it to the subcommittee meetings.
No, that's right. And we don't expect that you can make them all. You've got your own things doing.
Right.
Yeah, right.
That's why I thought reviewing this would be a good idea, and I ran it by Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Gresham. And I want to also, Superintendent Warwick has made that a priority, as with the school committee, about if we had the weather, any cuts, and in the days when we had the weather cuts, we always kept it away. We always kept it away from
protected the buildings. Yeah.
On it. And I wish, this is a public meeting, so I hope the viewers, see what we're going to be able to continue to do. Are there any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Is there a motion to adjourn? I appreciate that the school committee members took the time to be here. We'll be back together tomorrow night, but is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Mr.
Motion by Vice Chair Collins, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Gresham. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, Ms. Naylor,
Yes.
Attorney Murphy,
Yes.
Ms. Hurst, absent, Ms. Gresham,
Yes.
Ms. Perez, absent, Mr. Collins,
Yes.
and Mayor Sarno.
Yes, more than sufficient votes, this matter passes.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Josue.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for
We
watching.
appreciate it.
Good help.
Thank
Good
you.
evening. We'll see you tomorrow.